Verse 7, Ulladhu Naarpadhu, 40 verses on reality given to us by Sri Ramana Maharshi. Here is the verse in Tamil and I will translate. உலகு அறிவு ஒன்றாய் உதித்து ஒடுங்கும் ஏனும் உலகு அறிவு தன்னால் ஒளிரும் உலகு அறிவு தோன்றிமறைதற்கிடனாய் தோன்றிமறையாதொளிரும் அந்த பூன்றமாம் அகுதே பொருள் உலகு அறிவு ஒன்றாய் உதித்து ஒடுங்கும். The world and the knowledge which experiences the world, they both arise simultaneously and they subside simultaneously. உலகு அறிவு ஒன்றாய் உதித்து ஒடுங்கும் ஏனும் உலகு அறிவு தன்னால் ஒளிரும். Still the world is known through the knowledge. Knowledge is what? Senses and all the inputs of the senses are dumped into one yard called mind. So through the mind, through the senses, we experience the world. உலகு அறிவு ஒன்றாய் உதித்து ஒடுங்கும் ஏனும் உலகு அறிவு தன்னால் ஒளிரும் உலகு அறிவு தோன்றி மறைதற்கிடனாய் தோன்றி மறையாது ஒளிரும் அகுது பூன்றமாம் அகுதே பொருள். So for the knower, this mind and the world which is known, there is something else which is acting as the basis that never appears and disappears. Now this body is temporary, this world is temporary, they are all characterized by change and mortality, whereas Atma, which is the permanent basis for the appearance of the entire universe through its power of Maya, that Atma never changes. உலகு அறிவு ஒன்றாய் உதித்து ஒடுங்கும் ஏனும் உலகு அறிவு தன்னால் ஒளிரும் உலகு அறிவு தோன்றி மறைதற்கிடனாய் தோன்றி மறையாதொளிரும் பூன்றமாம் அகுதே பொருள். The only thing which is permanent, the only thing which exists and which is the basis for the appearance and disappearance of the entire world, including the body, the world and the universe, is that Atma. See, Advaita Vedanta says, upon realization, you will realize that the whole physical existence is nothing but a dream. Then we make a comparison to our dream state. Upon waking up from dream, we know clearly that the objects that existed, the people that existed in the dream, they didn't have any independent existence at all. They were unreal. We know that upon waking up from dream. Whereas a jnani, Ramana Maharshi calls the entire physical existence, our waking, dreaming, deep sleep state, our physical reality, the solid reality of the objects in the world, sky, matter, etc. They are all still like objects in the dream, he says. But upon waking up from sleep, we don't realize that this is a dream. We still feel that I am a solid person and the outside things, this camera, you and the other people and the other objects are all solid. I experience them as solid reality. So Atma is said to be Sakshi. Sakshi is a witness. The problem is the Sakshi is the mind now, as of now, for us, and that is housed inside this body, and this body is again housed inside the world. If at all there has to be a Sakshi, a witness, it has to be apart from this body mind phenomenon. You cannot cull out, you cannot derive Sakshi from the object of Sakshi. After all, the mind and body are objects of witness. And within that, if there is some false witness arises, it is not the witness. Atma is the witness. In fact, he is making a reference to Tripudi here. The implication is this, that Nirguna Brahman, a Brahman without any attributes, vast, infinite, from this the ego arises. And the mind arises. And this is the Sakshi, whereas something else is created. The body, mind, and the mind seems to act like a Sakshi, which is real, not the real Sakshi at all. That is the point we should remember. So the secret lies in, realizing our true nature, making the ego subside into the source from which it emanates. Only then we'll get jnanam, only then we'll get a solution. Witness cannot be a part of the event. If 5 people are fighting, one of them says, I am a witness. No, he is already part of the fight. He is involved in the fight. He is a party to the fight. So he cannot become a witness. Witness is totally independent of the participants. So the body mind is a participant in this world. How can that be the witness? It cannot be the witness. So in Dakshinamurti Stotram, he was the Adi Guru, the original Guru. Through his maunam, through his non-verbal presence, he taught 4 of his chief disciples and they became enlightened. Then Adi Shankara wrote a series of 11 hymns on Dakshinamurti, and Sri Bhagavan has translated that. In that he says, the world, Ulladhu Kannadi, he says, the entire universe is like the reflection found on a mirror. What is that mirror? It is Atma. But we might think it is the mind. No, there is a witness to the mind itself. The senses are known to the mind, and the mind is known to something else within us, which is permanent. So if we separate what is permanent, what is impermanent, the mind which perceives also comes under the category of impermanent things. That is a basis to the mind, to the body, to the world, which is Atman, which is ever present, which is unchanging, which is undying, unborn, which is like a stone which never changes. He says, Sidaya Nirkum Karpol. It stands like a stone, Atma. And within us, it is equal to stillness of the mind. That is why the practice of stillness is very, very important through Vicharam. If you go on inquiring, who am I, which is the birthplace of this I thought, then the I thought subsides, there stillness prevails. As Shankara said, Nischala Tattve Jivan Mukti, being motionless inside. I am not talking about the body. The mind, the thought itself does not arise at all. The thought arises in its source. There a stillness happens, silence happens, and that silence is defined as Atma. So in this Dakshinamurti Stotram, Sri Bhagavan says, the entire universe is like a reflection found on the mirror of consciousness. Because Shastras, scripture always says, you are fundamentally consciousness, pure awareness, without any mixture with matter. The body mind is a matter. So if it is mixed with this, then it is called samsara, it is called worldly life. We need to segregate. I am not the body, I am not the mind, I am not the world, I am not the universe, I am the witness consciousness. Of course, you have to read it along with existence, consciousness, bliss. I am pure existence which gives rise to the existence of all material objects in the universe. Existence. I am the awareness through which I act as the mind and I perceive the world. I fool myself and I stop with thinking that I am the mind. That is the whole mistake. That is the cause of all suffering. That is the cause of all birth, rebirth cycle. So you segregate. I am only existence, consciousness, bliss. The entire universe is apart from me. I am not that. So Ulladhu Kannadi, the entire world is nothing but, entire universe is nothing but a reflection. Okay. And then he says, Ur Nerurat Tanul, the entire universe is like the image found on, the reflection found on the mirror which I am. And here he says, Jnanam Uru Neram, Jnana Uru Neram, Evan Uruvanai Tannai Nerkanban, he says, when you attain realization, you will realize that the entire physical reality which seems to be away from me, in fact they are all within me, the awareness mirror, he says. This is a very difficult position of Advaita to start with. He says there is no such thing as universe at all. That is the position of Advaita Vedanta. Yeah, Gaudapada said, the guru of Shankara's guru's guru. Gaudapada, he said, there is no creation of the universe, there is no destruction of the universe, there is nobody who is in bondage, there is nobody who is in liberation, there is nobody who is seeking liberation. This is the ultimate truth. That's all. Even Sri Bhagavan has endorsed it many times. So this is something we cannot conceive mentally. The mind is the enemy. The mind is the screen which veils our reality. Only through vicharam or through other practices, slowly you come to vicharam and then do inquiry, which is the birthplace of this I thought. If we seek the source of I thought, it subsides and slowly the self-shining, self-luminous, self-lustrous Atma reveals itself to us. Supposing there is a projector and the projector's power is Atma. The projector tries to project itself to our awareness. But in between there is a filter put on that projector. That is the psychological sense of identification. So any given time, through the 72 nerves of our body, what is coming to our experience is not Atma, but what is standing in between Atma. There is something which stands in between Atma and our awareness. That is body identification. I am the body. So unless we get rid of or make the identification thinner and thinner, unless we make it attenuated fully, unless we make it go, so to say, we cannot realize our true nature. It is a challenge. There is some amount of fight involved, definitely. Because Shastra says, for those people who do not have courage, you cannot get this Atma. So the method is what? Vicharam, self-enquiry. What is the ultimate state Jnani is talking about? I have no universe at all. So this song says, Ulladhu arivu ondrai udithu udungum yenum ulladhu arivuthanal olirum. The world and the knowledge which sees the world, they both arise and subside together. Still, the world is experienced through this knowledge. This is mind. There is something else. In the Ulladhu arivu thondri maraidar kidanai thondri marayadolirum pundrama magde porul. There is something else which is appearing as the basis, substratum for the rise of this knowledge, mind and the perception of the world. He says, realize that. That is the permanent reality. So in short, Brahman or Atma is the ultimate reality. So let us realize that through Vicharam. Bhagavan says that is the only purpose of having taken this human birth.